Welcome back inside the MMA War Room with Shrikar Rajendran and Chris Schroyer. I'm Sam Corcoran. Guys, I am a happy man after what I saw last night. We're recording this on a Sunday. This will be posted on a Monday. UFC 320 banger fight card. Main card was fantastic. Prelims were fantastic. Guys, overall, your thoughts on this card. We'll make this quick, and then we'll get into each fight.
Well, I'm not happy as you guys. I'm very mixed.
Streetcar's not happy because Rountree lost, but like
I'm very
Pineda's
mixed,
back on top. Come on now.
Yeah. You gotta be happy about that. It was a great card. Really good. Probably top 2, top 3 card this year. Literally from early prelims on, like the only like bad fight on the card I'd say was the Patchy Mix fight. Like besides that, everything was banging. The entire main card was great. Obviously, we saw Joe Pyfer get his statement win to get into the rankings. Youssef Zalal made very quick work of Josh Emmett. And then obviously Jiri Khalil, top 3 fight of the year. An insane comeback from Jiri. Co-main event, Merab did his thing, just like we all knew he would. And then Poatan, as we all said, we told you guys, Pereira was going to get it back. If he was at least 85%, that was what I had it at. He was 100%. He was good to go. So, yeah, man, this was a great card. You could say it definitely saved the UFC from a Magomed Ankalaev title reign. Yeah, man, fun all around.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I thought there were great fights all around. Obviously, like Shrikar mentioned, I think the main card was absolutely phenomenal. I think that there were a few duds. Mentioned the Patchy Mix fight. Patchy Mix has landed on my ban list. There's a few things to work out for some of these fighters, but a lot of these other guys, especially Youssef Zalal and Joe Pyfer, I mean, it seems like the sky is going to be the limit for these guys, and I'm really looking forward to what's going to happen in the future for them. And yeah, Pereira is back on top. We called it. There was definitely something a little bit wrong with him in the first fight. Never a doubt in the minute and 20 seconds that the main event lasted. And yeah, I think we should just get right into it. I don't have too much to say, and we'll discuss everything starting right now. Sam,
I'll just add 2 more things before we get into it. First of all, I'm sick. This is not beer. This is emergency. I'm trying to recover.
Are you sure?
But hey, you know who I was drinking beer with last night, though? Mr. Chris Schroyer. I got to watch the fight in Long Island with Chris. That was the highlight of my night. Let's be so real.
It was amazing, man. Thanks for coming out, Sam. The island loves you.
I got you. Yes, sir. But let's get into the fights. Starting off with the fight that I don't really have too much to say about. Veronica Hardy takes Brogan Walker to decision. I predicted this. I predicted a UD for Hardy. Excuse me, I'm like coughing.
Brother,
I'm
stay with
not
us.
Well, man. But you know what? The show must go on. That's kind of how I feel about the fight, though. Me coughing, like that was what Brogan Walker is, just sick, not really doing that well. Meanwhile, Veronica Hardy does well, gets the UD. Not much to say other than I think she's moving up those rankings soon. So
Hardy looked sharp, landing some clean shots throughout, but I did want to see her go for the finish. Walker just couldn't make her skill set work for her. Super hesitant performance. Probably her last UFC fight, and honestly, that feels fair. Hardy did what she had to do. You talk about moving up towards the rankings, Sam. Gabriela Fernandez currently holds that 15 spot, but she needs another solid showing to move up. I think Hardy versus Fernandez would be a perfect stylistic clash for that rank slot. So I think that's what I go next. But good performance by Hardy. Did what she had to do as a minus 700 favorite. Definitely looked the part. Or maybe more so Walker did not look the part as a plus 500 underdog. But overall, pretty good fight.
Yeah, I definitely agree, Shrikar. I think you put it perfectly. I think Veronica Hardy put out a very well-rounded performance. I definitely would have liked to see her go for the finish. She did land a knockdown in the fight, which was very nice to see. There's not really too many knockdowns in women's MMA, but it's always nice to see the ladies get into a nice, good old-fashioned scrap. And I mean, we all mentioned in the preview podcast the predictions that Brogan Walker coming in as a 36-year-old 0-2 in the UFC. There really weren't too many expectations for her. We all predicted decision, I believe, pretty much a unanimous decision. But at the same time, I think Hardy had a great showing. Like she has a good camp behind her. Obviously, we've mentioned her husband is Dan Hardy, who was a pretty accomplished MMA fighter. He's now a commentator, and he knows the game better than anyone. He has the original War Room, so it was nice to see her go out there and really put on a great performance. So Veronica Hardy, she should be fighting for the top 15. So I think Gabriela Fernandez is a very solid opponent for her. Good stylistic matchup as well. They're both very well rounded. So I would really like to see that one go down. But yeah, pretty impressed from Veronica Hardy.
Yeah, I like that fight too, to say the least. But let's move on to a big underdog pulling it off, but not an underdog in the War Room. Ramiz Brahimaj gets the gilly choke against Austin Vanderford. Shrikar, I'll start with you because you actually said Vanderford on the podcast and then switched it after the fact. On the
yeah, he used his brain.
Yeah, I feel like I didn't give Brahimaj enough credit. I kind of just looked at the names on his resume and did not look as far into like how stylistically they would match up and how Brahimaj would meet the wrestling of Vanderford. And we saw Vanderford have some success early, but I think Brahimaj was teasing that front choke literally from the moment the fight started. But I definitely love how Brahimaj has essentially doubled down on what makes him great instead of overcomplicating things. Like the pressure, the pace, his confidence, like it is all clicking for this guy. He's basically refined his own formula and it's working. I think he has a bright future ahead. This dude just keeps proving people wrong. So I couldn't after Billy Ray Goff, I bet on him as a big favorite. I put him in a parlay. I was like, all right, I'm not betting against Brahimaj ever again. I want to stick to my word, at least with that. But in terms of what a next matchup could look like, I look at a guy like Jacoby Smith, who is kind of still in that prospect, area, kind of inching slowly toward the rankings. Obviously, just beat Nico Price, but he definitely needs another strong performance to justify any movement up. So I think Ramiz Brahimaj versus Jacoby Smith, this fight's a perfect prove-it moment for both of these guys. So that's where I'd lean next.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I was actually very confident on Brahimaj, and no discredit to Austin Vanderford too, because he is a very solid fighter in his own right. He did a great job controlling that first round. He landed a takedown about halfway through the round and was able to control it pretty much through the horn. And I think that Vanderford, he should have stuck to that game plan because it was really working for him. But like I said, Brahimaj is just so tough. He stayed very composed, and I believe Joe Rogan was mentioning it over and over again in the first round. Brahimaj did a very good job of keeping his chest above Vanderford's shoulders. He didn't really, slump down towards the cage, try and throw up into full guard, anything like that, get butterflies in the half guard. He did a very good job of sitting up, staying very calm and composed. And sometimes a lot of these fighters' downfalls when they get taken down is they kind of just freak out and throw themselves into unnecessary positions. And I think he did a very good job of not doing that. And as soon as he got back to the feet, man, it was 20 seconds into the second round. He has good boxing. He has very good, crisp striking. He landed a nice 1-2 on Vanderford, got him stumbling backwards, and hit him with a nasty Benoit Saint Denis on Matt Frivola head kick. I don't know how Vanderford didn't go out from that. He shattered.
Yeah, that snap was so loud. Chris and I were watching that.
Yeah.
Like, ooh.
It was insane. It sounded like a glass just broke on the floor, but it was, I mean, credit to Vanderford's chin, because I did consider him a very chinny person, but he was able to stay upright. Obviously, he was hurt. He shot for a single leg. He kind of got caught there. And Brahimaj, man, he has subs too. He's good on the feet, good on the floor. I think that plus 240 underdog was a very misvalued line. It was not. That was not a plus 240 underdog in that octagon that last night. So props to him. I think Jacoby Smith would be a great fight. You have Brahimaj, who's really trying to make a name for himself. Obviously, Jacoby Smith is undefeated. So it would definitely be a prove-it fight for both of these guys. And I think we're in for a scrap if that one gets booked. So props to Brahimaj, man. He's on the map, and he's a very cool, calm, collected guy, too. You could tell in his post-fight interview in the octagon. Impressed. Very impressed.
Yeah, an impressive fight. I had the sub pick, and he went to sub. He looked good out there, man. But and I found it interesting, Shukar. The reason you picked Vanderford at first was he didn't have many names on his resume. That's where my matching comes in. Instead of giving a prospect, let's give him a name. Give him a guy like Li Jinglian. He's on a 2-fight. What?
The Leech. I can see that.
The Leech. Yeah. I mean, he's on a 2-fight losing streak. He needs to fight down. Brahimaj, if you want to test someone who's been through the ringer, fought guys before, fought Khamzat Chimaev, fought Carlos Prates, some other guys out there, D-Rod, Salikov, Neil Magny, give him, why not make that happen? I think you give him a good name, a guy who's a little bit down right now, and gets like, okay, now prove it, Brahimaj. Like I think he did prove it this fight. I would pick Brahimaj in that fight too, honestly, but I think it's a good one to just give him a name on his resume and give him a little more respect that he deserves.
I'm not mad at it.
Yeah, not mad at that at all.
Yeah, well, let's move on. Farid Basharat takes down Chris Gutierrez, a 29-28 decision. Chris, I'll start with you for this one. Sure. I had this one going to knockout. No, I had a sub for this one. Excuse me. The fights got switched up after the fact. We made this episode, so my doc is a little out of order. But what did you think of this one? Basharat coming away with a good win.
Yeah, Basharat he's a great fighter, man. Like I said in the preview, the Basharat brothers are a tandem to look out for. They're both very, very, very well rounded. I think Farid showed in this fight he can do it all. He can stand up and strike with you. He can throw up some submissions. He definitely has very, very solid wrestling. If you give him too much on the feet, he'll kind of do a little bit of a not a blitz per se, but he'll throw strikes to set up a takedown, which is I think something that's very important in MMA if you want to really utilize your grappling, and that's something that Merab did very well that we'll get into a little bit later in this recap. But yeah, I was very impressed with Farid. In the third round, though, Chris Gutierrez did come on strong. He definitely was looking for the finish. Did a great job. I think Farid just gassed himself out a little bit, but he was going ham in the first 2 rounds. So obviously, definitely, a little bit of lenience there because he was really looking for the finish a few times. But like I said, I think Gutierrez, this fight would have been very beneficial for him if this happened a few years earlier. And obviously, Basharat, I believe he's now 14-0, 15-0.
He's 14-0, undefeated.
14-0, yeah. He was 13-0. Obviously, Basharat was not at the place he is currently, but I think, obviously, if you take this fight and place it maybe 3 years ago, 4 years ago, I know that's a lot of time in MMA, but I think Gutierrez is just a little bit of an older fighter. He's a few steps behind now. He still has a very good game plan, very good leg kicks, very crisp striking. But I think the youth of Farid really just carried him in this one. And obviously the technical skills, solid, very solid. Don't really know who I would match him up with right now. I think he's knocking on the door of a ranking. I think he's really earned it. But if not a ranking fight in a ranked opponent in the next fight, I think his next fight should either boost him into the rankings or really give him a spot from fighting someone in the 10 to 15 range.
Yeah, I kind of I think he's closer to the rankings. I think he's a little far out. But a dominant win. And like you said, Gutierrez would have benefited. This happened a little earlier. But I like where Basharat's at. We'll talk about another guy who I think he should, who I haven't matched up with a little later. But Jakub Wikłacz, I think is how you pronounce that name. I'm terrible with that. Polish names are hard. But beating Patchy Mix, it's a win. We'll talk about that win in a little bit. But I think those two would be good for each other. Wikłacz is on a big winning streak. Basharat's undefeated. Timelines match up. Why don't you put the 2 and 2 together? He also could fight Patchy Mix realistically, but at this point, like, that's a name
I don't know
you
what
don't
to do
really
with
want to fight. That doesn't help you at all anymore. So we'll see about that.
Yeah, Basharat dominated the first 2 rounds and just looked levels above Gutierrez. I'm not going to lie. I'm like way higher on him than I think you guys are in terms of the matchmaking, which I'll get into in a second. Even when he got tired in the third, he still held strong and
definitely
probably won that round too. And I think it is time to get this guy a top 15 fight. No question. No question.
Damn.
5-0 in the UFC. And I think he's clearly ready for a ranked test. And the ranked test I'm looking at is Rob Font. Rob Font, he's been that gatekeeper for years now. And this is exactly the kind of fight to see if Basharat's the real deal. I think this is the way I'd lean. I think he deserves that ranked opportunity right now. This guy is really, really good. He's so technically good. So again, great work from Farid Basharat. And yeah, hopefully he gets that ranked opportunity.
I'll give you two other names real quick. Payton Talbot, two good prospects. Put those 2 and 2 together. And then Saeed Nurmagomedov, a guy that just fell out of the ranked opportunities. I think you're probably looking at a guy just outside, maybe needs like 1 or 2 more. But I can understand the respect for Basharat Shrikar. I think Rob Font would be a good pick if they want to give him a ranked opportunity. Well, speaking of ranked fights, let's move on to a women's fight that was supposed to be bantamweight, ended up being catchweight. Yana Santos felt very disrespected that Macy Chiasson missed weight again. And, I mean, it's the 4th time that she's fought a fighter that has missed weight. This time she gets it done. A decision, 28-29, UD. I liked what I saw from Santos this fight. I thought it was a very close fight overall, but Santos gets it done. She's going to be in the top 5 of bantamweight probably next. So you're getting closer and closer to a ranked opportunity. And I think with that being said, I mean, so you have Kayla Harrison, Juliana Pena, Raquel Pennington, Ketlin Vieira, and Norma Dumont. I believe I got to pull up the rankings in Tapology real quick. I want to say, is Pennington booked? Pena's not booked, though. Pennington is not booked. The one that Dumont and Vieira are booked. So you could get Pennington or Juliana Pena next. I wouldn't hate that for her at all, either of those fighters. I think Pena makes a little more sense. I actually, I don't know. I think if you think that she's 1 away from a title shot, I think you give her Pennington, because I think Pennington is 1 away from a title shot, especially after getting robbed against Pena. I think Pena might need another one. So I think either of those fighters will work, but that'll be a good main card fight, title eliminator. Maybe you put it on the same card as whenever Kayla Harrison fights next. They have that theme going. But Yana Santos has been on a roll recently. I know she's had struggles in the past, but now a 3-fight winning streak. Against the first two are against people that like are kind of washed. Let's be real. But then she goes out and beats Macy Chiasson. I think that's a pretty good win.
Chiasson poured it on late, but Yana toughed it out and got it done. Good to see her pick up the win after a tough stretch. Chiasson, though, between the weigh-in mess and her performance, just didn't deliver. Did not deliver. But yeah, now that Santos is stacking wins and just took out a top 5 opponent, I think this should be Raquel Pennington versus Yana Santos. I think the timing is perfect. Pennington's still a name in this division, and this would be a big one for both of them. So yeah, Yana Santos with a gritty win.
Yeah, I definitely. Well, were you gonna say something, Sam?
No, go ahead. I'll say something after.
Okay. Yeah, I think Raquel Pennington and Yana Santos is definitely the matchup to make right now. And I just really wasn't impressed with Macy Chiasson. I think that she has the intangibles to, be a very solid fighter in this division. And we've talked about it constantly. I think the UFC could benefit from 2 more weight divisions in women's MMA, atom weight going down to 105 and featherweight going up to 145. I think Macy Chiasson would be a very solid fighter in the 145 division. However, it is your job to make weight, and Yana Santos said that very clearly. And you sign a contract, you're pretty much held to a contractual obligation, even just a moral obligation of having respect for your fighter, if your opponent, to make weight. And Macy Chiasson, she's had some weight struggles in the past, but she just didn't look up to par with Yana Santos. And not to discredit Yana Santos, because Yana Santos looked absolutely amazing, looked in phenomenal shape. She was very crisp on the feet, very powerful on the feet. And I was really impressed with her clinch work, because that is where Macy Chiasson really thrives. And I mentioned it in the preview that Macy Chiasson, she really goes to the trip takedowns in the clinch. And Yana Santos did amazing at defending those. She was not even did not even feel threatened by those types of takedowns. And I just felt like every time Yana landed, whenever Macy would throw back, it just didn't feel the same. If you're going off the eye test, Yana Santos 1000% won that fight. And the last round, obviously Macy had it. She landed the takedown. She almost got in the submission. Yana Santos gritted it out. She knew the situation, that she was only 15 seconds away from a win. But props to Yana Santos, man. She came out and looked amazing. I'm not even gonna shoot it short. She looked absolutely amazing, and she looks like she's really trending up towards, maybe a title shot in the near future. She takes care of Raquel Pennington. I don't think that you can really say that she's not deserving of a title shot. I think that, having Thiago Santos in her corner, that's her husband. I always laugh because Joe Rogan always says it whenever Yana Santos fights, that he's on a card commentating. It's like, don't break into that household. Yeah, do not break into that household. You're looking for a world of trouble. But I think her camp, especially her husband, who Thiago Santos was a great fighter. He has great grappling, and he really seemed like him and her camp prepared her for everything that Macy Chasson was going to throw her way. So very, very good showing from Yana Santos. Very happy to see it too.
And I will say just one thing you mentioned, I was going to say about the divisions and the weight classes in women's featherweight, and women's fight MMA, I should say. Kind of hit what I was going to say next, but there should be a women's featherweight division. I feel like it's time. There's enough fighters that are good enough for it. You look at it is the fighter's job to make weight, though. Let's be honest. And look at Kayla Harrison. I think that's a prime example of it is your job to make weight. She gets every last pound off of her. She's never missed weight in her career. I know she fought at lightweight, by the way.
Yep.
And now she's cutting to 135. That's crazy. There should be a featherweight division, though. Macy Chasson would be great for that. Kayla Harrison would move up immediately for that. Nora Cornell, that's another person who's had weight cut issues in the bantamweight division. I feel like the women's bantamweight division is when we always see where there's some weight cut issues for. Having another division opens that up more. I think that would be beneficial. I don't know about atomweight. I think that's a little too. I feel like atomweight's cutting it a little too.
Y'all want to take? I think they're closer to opening an atomweight division than
I think so too.
Division.
I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know if it's the right call, but it makes sense. But
because if they open up featherweight again, it's just going to be another dead division. Like it's not. There's like I do agree in the sense that like that's what I want to see, but I feel like Dana's looking at it and he's like, all right, if I do this again, I already went through a whole bunch of shenanigans with the featherweight division when we opened it up, but also Nunes was kind of just dominating that whole division. I think if they open featherweight up the fighter
division, and women's bantamweight's the worst division in the UFC too. So you do have a valid point with that. Maybe they need a little more talent before we get to that. But let's move on because Punahele Soriano gets the UD against Nikolai Veretennikov. Dominant decision overall. Dominant win throughout. Veretennikov just did not look like himself. But I will give Veretennikov credit because he did hold his ground a lot throughout the fight. Or not hold his ground. Maybe that's the wrong way to say it, but just stayed alive that entire fight.
Yeah.
Because Punahele dominated him. I'm a little surprised that he had submitted. I would love to see Punahele win, do that fight again and win by submission. Because I think at the end of the day, I'm impressed by Punahele. I would be even more impressed if he got the submission win or even a knockout.
Yeah, Punahele pretty one-dimensional with the wrestling, but he didn't need anything else. Just totally neutralized Veretennikov on the ground. Nothing flashy, just smart control. On the flip side, awful fight IQ from Veretennikov. I don't understand why you keep pulling gilly after gilly after gilly. Like that cost him the fight. It cost him the fight. Like I honestly think this is the end of the road for Nikolai Veretennikov. Like I did not see anything where I was like, okay, he needs to stay in the UFC.
I kind of agree with that. And by the way, his last, I know he's coming off a win. That win was that was a robbery. I thought Prado won that fight.
It was a close fight. Yeah. So I don't know. Next for Punahele, I think the guy who's going to give Soriano a real test is Chris Curtis, a veteran and literally the perfect measuring stick to see if Punahele's ready for the next level. So it's going to be an all action fight. Chris Curtis versus Punahele Soriano should be next, but solid showing.
Yeah, definitely. And Punahele was very disappointed himself. They showed, I love the social videos that UFC does when the fighter leaves the octagon, because it kind of, it's almost like a tell-all story of how they thought their performance went, because either they're really celebrating or they're not celebrating it at all. And Punahele,
well, even when the fight ended, Soriano was doing like,
exactly. Yeah. He walked out and he was I believe, nodding to some people in the crowd, walked past Hunter Campbell, Sean Shelby, Dana, and he was just like, that was not it. That was not it. He definitely wanted to finish. Obviously, a very dominant win.
Yeah, a win at the end, and at the end of the day, especially in MMA, a win is a win, and you take 100%. That and run with it. Even if it's a robber, you take that and you run with it.
100%. He kind of pulled shades of Dakota Dacheva over in PFL of when he didn't get the finish. She almost cried when she didn't knock out her opponent. But yeah, I mean, these fighters hold them. Obviously, they're held to a standard, from a matchmaking standpoint or just a ranking standpoint, but they also hold themselves to a standard. And I think Puna held himself to a little bit higher of a standard than what he put out, although he had a great performance. Do not get me wrong. He did a great job of getting out of some of those very deep guillotine submissions from Veronikov. There was a few times where Puna's eyes were popping out of his head, and I was like, oh my God, is he going to get caught? Very good defensive grappling. He was able to get his body off to the side to negate the guillotine, but I still think that it was a solid performance. Like, he should hold his head high. Veronikov is a gritty fighter. He's a tough fighter. We mentioned it. We all mentioned it. He's not easy to really, just put out and away, even though it's funny that Austin Vanderford actually put him away in the UFC, but it was a good performance. I think he should hold his head up high. I think Chris Curtis is a very good fight. I think that that's something that he should look forward to. And I think the weight cut, I kept mentioning the weight cut. I think the weight cut did wonders for Puna. I think he'll be very good in this welterweight division compared to the 185 division in middleweight. I think maybe Chris Curtis or even someone like Jake Matthews, I think could be a very good measuring stick for him. That. Jake Matthews just lost to Neil Magny in a very interesting fight, maybe a fluke not decision because Magny won by submission, but he almost got the submission on Magny. I think that would be a good fight for him. So Chris Curtis, Jake Matthews, I wouldn't be mad at that at all. I think those are two great measuring sticks for Puna in this 170 division.
Absolutely. Let's move up to the division. Start with that was the early prelims. Move on to the actual prelims. Another one we all called. Edmen Shahbazyan takes down Andre Muniz by a vicious knockout.
He's nasty.
Yeah, nasty. Shahbazyan dominated this fight. I'll make it quick because, I had this. He looked great out there. He is on a roll right now. 3 straight wins in the UFC. He's 10-5 now. He's inching closer to the rankings than you think, man. I think a good test for him would be, there's so many guys in middleweight who are close to the rankings or are fighting for a ranked shot soon, have it booked. I think one guy you could look at, the loser of Roman Kopylov and Cop fight. I think the loser of that's on November 15th at MSG. I think the loser of that could take on Edmen Shahbazyan. And with that win, I think Edmen Shahbazyan would be one fight, if not in the rankings after that. He's getting closer and closer. I think you got to put someone in that range. I think that fight would make a lot of sense. I would love to see RoboCop. I would love to see both of those guys fight him. 2 guys that love to be at the feet. I think that works out really well.
Exactly the kind of performance he needed. Dealt with Muniz beautifully, stayed calm, and that check hook was nasty. Nasty check hook.
Mm-hmm.
Got the finish in a round and proved he still belongs in those high-level conversations. Great comeback arc for Edmen Shahbazyan. I want to see Shahbazyan versus CLD.
I was thinking that too.
I was just thinking that.
Because whoever takes that one probably earns another crack at the ranked elite.
I was just going to say that too.
That would be a banger. But massive win for Edmen Shahbazyan. And again, great comeback.
Yeah, no, 100% Shrikar. You actually literally took the words right out of my mouth. That was the person I was going to match him up with. And obviously CLD does have a fight coming up against, let me look. Sorry. I am kind of terrible right now. Why am I not remembering?
Wait, does he have a fight booked?
Yes, he does.
CLD?
Yeah, isn't he fighting?
I don't think he does. No,
because Tapology says he's
No, I swear.
I think if you're gonna, I think you might be thinking. Are you thinking of the other Chris Duncan?
No, I swear that CLD has a fight booked. Maybe I might be completely wrong. I'm gonna double check that because I thought.
Let us know in the comments if CLD has a fight booked.
Yeah, I'm gonna do a little research when we get on to this next fight, and then I'll update within the couple minutes. But yeah, that would be a great stylistic matchup. 2 superb strikers, absolutely superb strikers. And I was I was very, very high on Edmen Shahbazyan when he came into the UFC in 2018. He won on Contender Series in one of the first seasons of what is now a staple in the UFC. But it's very funny to think because he might be one of the only fighters that he got a contract on Contender Series. And this obviously doesn't happen anymore. He got a contract on Contender Series and then instantly went to the Ultimate Fighter. So he competed in the Ultimate Fighter after getting a Contender Series contract, which is kind of funny, but someone I was very high on, and he went on a bad skid. But when you look at some of these losses, other than Gerald Meerschaert in 2024,
yeah, that was a terrible loss. That's kind of holding him back.
Like his first loss in his MMA career, Derek Brunson, when Derek Brunson was a very solid fighter, pretty much running rampant in that division until he had his little fall off. Hermanson, Nasruddin Imavov, Anthony Hernandez. Like, these losses are not bad losses. He kind of just ran into a few roadblocks, and now that he's back on his horse, this guy he's showing what he is. He's an amazing kickboxer, a world-class kickboxer. And if you stand and bang with him, he's going to put your lights out. It's just that simple. That's why it was honestly very impressive that Andre Petroski lasted that long. As someone
got dropped in the third round too.
Yeah, he did get dropped. And we kind of seen Andre Petroski's trend slightly going down, his stock going down, but this guy is proving that he is what he was when he came into the UFC. He just ran into some great opponents. But yeah, I think Muniz definitely did a solid job of trying to negate that striking. He did a lot of clinch work where I was kind of debating to myself, okay, if Muniz can keep this up, he might be able to survive all 3 rounds. And then obviously Shahbazyan breaks the clinch and boom, boom, boom on the floor. Muniz goes out. Those elbows on the floor were nasty. I think that CLD would be a perfect stylistic matchup. And it's not like an opposites attract matchup. It's 2 world-class strikers fighting each other.
Yeah, I think that's what you should do. And I think that would be entertaining. Just have 2 world-class strikers go against each other.
I agree.
So yeah, I'm with that. Let's talk about someone who's absolutely not world-class, though. People thought he was. No shot. Patchy Mix, I think we can officially rule him as a fraud, man. This is where you talk a fraud check. Now, I will say, I thought he won that fight. I thought it was a robbery. I thought that Wikłacz should not have won.
No, it wasn't a robbery.
I thought it was. I thought Patchy Mix won that fight. With that being said, with those expectations for him, how do you even have it come to a close fight? That's the thing. Like, it was a robbery, but I'm so disappointed by Patchy Mix too. I don't know where you go from here, man. If you're Patchy Mix, like you go to the UFC and you look terrible in your 2 fights there. I don't think he gets cut. I think you have to give him like 1 prove it fight. And like a prove it fight against a guy, maybe like it could just be a guy that's coming from Contender Series. That's how bad it is, man. Especially in featherweight where there's so much talent, you have a lot of work to do. And I don't really know if he can do it at this point, man. That's all I gotta say. Wikłacz, I match made with Basharat. I think that'll be good for them. I was impressed by Wikłacz's first UFC fight. Getting a win. I know it was split decision. I know it's Patchy Mix. I don't want to discredit Patchy Mix as well because he is still a great fighter. And he's fought Mario Bautista and Wikłacz, who also looked pretty good out there. So it's a good win for him. I didn't think he deserved to win, but at the end of the day, my big takeaway is that Patchy Mix is terrible.
I think Wikłacz did enough to bank the first 2 rounds, to be honest. And from the start, it didn't feel like this fight was set up to make Mix look good anyway. Because think about it. How do you go from the UFC was telling us something. Because how do you go from Mario Bautista to a guy making his debut from a different promotion? Like, I don't think this was in any way set up to make Mix look good. Wikłacz is not ready for the title picture just yet, but I think his style is fun to watch. I want to see him against like a very high unranked opponent next, honestly, because as much as we like say these bad things about Patchy Mix, that's still a very big name to have on your resume in your UFC debut.
Oh yeah, 1000%.
So I want to see him against a high unranked opponent, just to see kind of where he's at. But no surprises here. I mean, Wikłacz handled business. I thought this was a clear 29-28, and I don't think this was a robbery at all.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that it was a robbery. I'd like just scrolling Twitter, but look, if Patchy Mix won, I would have been fine with it. I just don't think he deserved to win the fight. It's interesting because I feel like some fighters win the fight and it's not a robbery if they win, but they don't deserve to win the fight. He did nothing in my mind that told me, wow, okay, Patchy Mix definitely won this fight. I think Wikłacz did a great job in his UFC debut. Clearly the lights were not too bright for him, and he came out and stuck to his game plan. He actually showed a lot better striking than I thought he was going to show. But that might be due to Patchy Mix, kind of making a name for himself as a punching bag. But it was just a very interesting fight, very interesting stylistic fight. I think that Wikłacz should fight someone who is a high unranked fight. I know you said for Farid Basharat, that Peyton Talbot should fight him. I think Wikłacz should fight Peyton Talbot. I think that would be a very good fight too. Two guys pretty much on the brink of rankings. I think that's a very good prove-it spot for both of them, and Talbot's been trending upwards. That'll definitely show us where Wikłacz is as a UFC fighter, but I would really like to see that. I think that would also be very good stylistic matchup because Peyton Talbot has very solid grappling, very good striking, and Wikłacz has shown that he can strike too, and he does have great grappling. He's a world-class grappler. So I would like to see that, but also I really like Shrikar's pick as well. I think that would be solid, but I just did a little bit of research. So Christian Leroy Duncan versus Marco Tulio was verbally agreed to / in the works. Crazy Kev reported it. Marcel Dorf, who we all love Marcel in the War Room, he had it on his little spreadsheet that he posted on Twitter that the color code was red, which means verbally agreed to or in the works. And that is for the November 8th card in the Apex. So
interesting. So
that's what was coming to my head.
Interesting. Yeah, I think there's a lot of guys.
Marco Tulio's a dog.
Yeah, there's a lot of guys at featherweight that are close to a ranked shot, and like young guys too. So I'm kind of glad you said that, Chris. I kind of like that too. Let's move on to what was supposed to be it was a catch weight at 153, which is interesting. I feel like you don't see that too often.
I believe Santos
was supposed to be a featherweight.
It was agreed to beforehand. It wasn't someone missed weight.
Yeah,
it was
Santos wasn't
Santos missed weight.
And he
didn't miss weight on the day, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, he communicated to Hughes camp that he wasn't going to make it. So
which does happen more often than anything.
Yeah, which is good. Yeah. Good on Santos knowing that he wasn't going to make weight, and instead of getting on the scale, I know. But
good on Santos, really?
No, well,
it's not a good look, but nonetheless, it's still like at least
definitely more respectful than just showing up the day of weigh-ins and saying, "Hey, I missed weight. Sorry, like deal with it." But
yeah, but nonetheless, he gets a good knockout win over a guy who, man, I really thought he was going to win. I was so confident in.
He had a great first round.
He had a great first round, and then he got slept, which I did not see coming. I'm going to be honest with you. Man, credit to Santos at the end of the day. I think, he looked good out there. He showed why he was the favorite for a reason. It was something I definitely doubted, I will not lie. But now he's on a 4-fight winning streak, guys. He's looking really good. Back-to-back losses, back-to-back wins against Koreans, by the way. So just killing them out there. 5-1 in the UFC. He's getting closer to a ranked shot, man. I think this is one, like, I don't really know what to do with him because I think he's close. It's like featherweight's just such a messy picture right now. Or does he move up to lightweight? That's the other question after missing weight. He made 153. I think if you're having trouble, I don't know. What do you guys think for a matchmaking? I want to hear what you guys think.
It's not the first time he's missed weight, so that's kind of why I'm like shrugging. But like,
yeah, that's also why I'm shrugging.
Come on, Willie Cat.
I mean, Santos, he was a step behind for most of the first round, but once he found his timing, he blitzed through and landed that clean knockout shot. Big power, great adjustment. I like you, but man, the risk management there was rough. Very rough. I feel like his hands were super low. He was showboating a lot. He was kind of playing to the crowd, which is good. Like, you want to be an entertainer, but like, you're in a fight. Like, you kind of have to be like, unless you're John Silva, you kind of have to just be like locked in. As for Santos, still got to sort out those weight issues, but I think he's dangerous wherever he settles, whether it's at 145 or at lightweight. But I'm going to matchmake this just based on if he stays at 145. So if Santos can settle back in, I think a fight with Andre Fili makes total sense.
Ooh, touchy-feely.
And whoever wins that one should be knocking on the door of the rankings. I just think it was a great knockout. Daniel Santos got it done, and hopefully he can sort out the weight.
Yeah, I think that is definitely, like we mentioned with Macy Chiasson, definitely something that you need to sort out as a fighter. It's kind of a respect thing at a point, not even just a contractual obligation. It also is showing respect to your opponent, that you told them that you were going to be this weight and you miss weight, or even you're going to miss weight and you have to tell them, hey, can we do this at the catch weight? And Ju Sang Yu had every right to say, no, I don't want to do this. You're not going to make weight. No, we saw it happen with Patricio Pitbull and Losena Akita. Pitbull was not playing those games. He's a pro's pro. He's never missed weight, and it was Keita's only time missing weight in his MMA career. And sometimes there shouldn't even be a one strike rule. It should be, what you're getting into coming into the fight.
But I'm not gonna lie, they should have never made Keita fight at featherweight.
Yeah, I agree.
That was just dumb from the start.
I agree. That's a different situation. But yeah, I was kind of just like comparing it because Patricio Pitbull, like he had every right to say no, and Keita was like, "I'll give you my whole check," and Pitbull was honoring the weight agreement that they had, and he said, "No, if you're not going to make it, I don't want to fight you." So I think that credit to him for going in there as a catch weight, even pretty much cut all the weight that he needed to, and Yu's a pretty big guy. He's a pretty stocky featherweight, and I mean, it drains your energy cutting weight, and then when you have to, gain all that weight back, and you've already done pretty much 75% of the legwork, it kind of stinks. I mean, I've never really had to deal with cutting weight other than I'm telling myself, oh, you're looking a little fat, you gotta cold off on the cookies, but it's not the same at all. But I think Santos is definitely a good fighter, and he can take the fight wherever he wants to. He's very fluid, very crisp on the feet, crisp on the ground. And I like that. Who'd you just mention, Shrikar? Sorry.
Andre Fili.
Yeah, I like Andre Fili as well. I think that would be a good fight for him. Someone else I was thinking of is Youssef Zalal. No, I'm joking. Maybe someone like Chepe Mariscal. Someone who's
that would be a good one.
Someone who's also on a very solid win streak. Santos is on a solid win streak, and they can both go wherever the fight takes them. So I think I would like to see that. I don't think Chepe is booked either. So hey, make that happen, UFC. Santos didn't take too much damage, so that could be a fight on one of the ending Apex cards. And we all thought the Apex was done, and clearly it's not.
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah. I would like that. I think that would be a good fight.
Yep.
Yeah, well, let's cap off the prelims with the funeral of Tristan Vines. I mean, first of all, credit to him for taking this fight. He had no chance in there. And it's crazy because it didn't even seem like Gautier did much. He just from what I saw, he just landed a punch and Vines just went into him and he was basically out already. And Gautier's just like, all right, I'm just going to chuck you on the ground. You're good. It was like, he made it look so easy, man. This guy is a beast. This guy is a force to be reckoned with. I am ready to see him close to, if not getting a ranked opportunity next. And I think one guy that would be great for that, I think you test him with the best of the best. You test him with a guy. No, Shrikar?
Not yet, bro. Not yet. He's not ready.
Shrikar and I have been very high on not throwing these
slow cook it. Slow cook.
not throwing these big guys. I think we really talked about this with Mauricio Hufi about not throwing these big name prospects right into the fire. You want to build them a highlight tape. You want to build them a sick like and one
reel.
vintage mixtape.
We all three of us know about the reel.
These
I'm gonna
guys
give you guys a name. You guys are gonna hate me for it. I'm gonna give you a name. I was thinking y'all are gonna
throw it out there. Shoot,
Paulo Costa.
No.
Nope.
Set it up, please.
Nope.
I think that would be great. Give Gautier someone, because the thing is, Gautier is like a knockout artist. I want to see how good.
Wait, no. You said Costa? Okay, I can't wait. I can't wait for you to hear what I have.
I actually have a match. I have a matchup made for Paulo Costa.
Me too.
I want to.
Shrikar, we're definitely going the same direction.
Paulo Costa's chin has been looking real good recently.
Yeah, and I have someone that could test that.
Yeah. So, me too.
Shrikar, we're literally on the same wavelength.
I just want to see. I want to see Gautier fight someone that has a tough chin. That's kind of what I want, and I think Costa is a good guy towards the top of the rankings. That would be that guy if you want to bump him that high.
Wait, Shrikar, I'm a little.
Say it on 3. Y'all should say.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I want to see who you're gonna say for Paulo Costa. All right, wait.
Okay,
3.
Oh wait, no, let me do the countdown.
Okay.
Okay. There'll be a little delay. All right, 3, 2, 1.
Joe Pyfer.
Woo! Oh
my god, bro.
So y'all also have a ranked opportunity for him.
That's different.
Dude, I'm telling you, bro, we're on the same wavelength, bro. Same frequency.
Nah, but when you said, okay, we'll count down, say it, I was like, dang, this is just going to spoil the Joe Pyfer pick.
Yeah, I know, me too. But I needed to hear it because, I mean, realistically, do we really have to talk about Ateba Gautier? This dude's insane. He needs a mixtape. Personally, I thought Treston Vines was looking for a way out, in my opinion. That's kind of what it seemed like to me. I didn't think he wanted to be in that octagon. He wanted a payday, which, good for you, bro. You definitely got a payday. Dana White probably treated you well. No one wants to step in the ring with that guy, especially someone who's not even in the UFC. But yeah, Gautier, build him a mixtape. He's good. I don't even know who I want him to fight next, but whoever it is, good luck to you, brother. Good luck.
Wait, sorry, I'm tripping. Didn't you guys just not say Joe Pyfer versus Gautier?
No,
we're saying Joe Pyfer versus Paulo Costa.
Oh, that's why I caught you down, because I thought y'all were saying Gautier is gonna fight Joe Pyfer.
No. Joe Pyfer versus Paulo Costa.
I don't mind Joe Pyfer versus Paulo Costa.
Should we just go into Joe Pyfer?
Wait. Can I say my?
Yeah. You're good.
Sam is gonna love this. Okay, first of all, Vines dove in for that takedown and just got cracked. Like lights almost out mid shot. Gautier basically ragdolled him after that. Super physical finish. Even if the opponent wasn't exactly elite, still a statement moment. Dude's got something. We've been over Gautier multiple times. He's so good. But yeah, I don't think he's quite ready for the top dogs at 185 yet. But this is a perfect time to test him against.
This is going to be like Cody Brundage or someone.
A few established names in the UFC.
Ooh.
I think one guy who's very, very established in the UFC, for better or worse. Cedric Dumas.
Oh my god. I would love to see that. I would love to see that.
I was like, nah, Sam is going to love this.
You have
Cedric Dumas.
You have a POS human being versus a wrecking ball. I would love to see that.
I mean, he's a very hittable guy. I think this is a great chance for Gautier to add a recognizable name to his resume. Because obviously Dumas, say what you want, he's big name.
He is. For wrong reasons, but
yeah, we don't have to disclose the reason, but like he's big. But that was definitely, I think Gautier had one of the weirdest knockouts we've seen lately.
I'm telling you, Vines wanted a way out. He wanted.
I think Vines was like I think because the elbows were not even like landing flush. Like I just think he, like, as soon as the knee hit, I think Vines was thinking to himself like, I'm cooked.
Yeah.
Let me go into the clinch real quick, and then I'm just gonna tag out. But hey, shout out to Vines for hopping in there with Gautier. Gautier was a minus 4,000 favorite. You see why. This was quick work.
I actually have a very good fight for Gautier that I think would really let us evaluate how powerful he is. What do you guys think about Gautier versus Marc-Andre Barriault?
I don't mind that.
Sure.
I don't mind that at all, actually.
I'm not gonna lie,
I think that's better range than
I think
Cerezo
Barrio would
Bogdanovich.
cause him some trouble.
But if
He's too
Pyfer
crazy.
could crack Barrio's chin, then Gautier is gonna crack that.
Exactly,
chin.
but that's also like another recognizable name without putting him into too much danger.
No, I like
That's
it. I
valid.
think it's good.
But
There's definitely like a few you could throw out there that fit.
I was also thinking Michel Pereira.
Oh God,
that's a really recognizable name, and he's on the
that first round of that fight
would be one of the best rounds of all time.
That would be crazy. Yeah,
you see flying knees, capoeira, and death.
No, that would be crazy.
Anyways.
But yeah.
All right, let's move on to the main card. You guys were talking about Joe Pyfer taking down Abus Magomedov. I'll let you start with this one.
Why?
Yeah.
Chris did not get this pick right. That's why. This was by the way, we all agreed on
I got the first round right, if that counts for anything.
I guess.
That was like
I mean Pyfer did look a little rough early. Like he was getting clipped.
I have a bone to pick with Pyfer. I feel like he is bad fight IQ. He needs to get his fight IQ up.
Yes and no.
He relies too much on the I'm gonna one shot knock you out, which did work. So I can't really discredit him for that. But
I mean,
why would you wrestle a Dagestani?
I don't know. I feel like Pyfer, he was definitely getting clipped. He had to survive some heat in round one.
But he didn't. He literally wrestled him instantly.
I don't know. I still credit Pyfer for flipping the script.
Oh, no, 100%.
Yeah,
100%,
credit to him.
100%.
Like, he used Abus's own pace against
him. Yeah, that is true.
And once he got rolling in round two, it was all Pyfer. Like, he got the hands going. He got the hands going and closed the show. I think it's a big win for Joe Pyfer. I think this 100%. Is his statement.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm not going to discredit him at all. You still have to land the shot. He landed the shot. He picked his shots, which is something he's very, very good at too. I think this was a way better fight for him than the Gastelum fight. Yes, exactly. Yeah. I think he did a little bit better at picking his shots instead of just, I'm going to stand here and boom, now I'm not going to throw for another minute. Boom, now I'm not going to throw. I think, trying to wrestle Abus, it paid off in the end because he definitely got to Abus's cardio a little bit. Abus was almost close to a sub though, which that would have been terrible. That would have been a terrible look for Joe Pyfer, but Abus did a very good job. I think that he should have instantly shot a takedown at the beginning of the second round. Joe Piper's a guy that you can't stand and strike with. That's just not going to go well for you. And Abus, even though he was standing up for maybe a minute. No, I don't even think it was a minute. However long he was standing up with him for in the second round. I think that he would have benefited much more if he just instantly said, all right, I'm taking this to the floor and this is where we're going to live for 15 minutes. And when you're on the floor, you still have time to recover a little bit. You can get your win back, especially if you're on top when you're just laying on someone. Because now Pyfer, who has had a little bit of cardio issues, not a lot, but slightly. Now he has to carry your weight on top of his own weight. And that would have definitely helped the boost. I definitely thought that the fight was going to go the way it was in the first round for much more of the fight. It didn't. And I will pack my belongings and go home on that. But it was definitely a good showing from Pyfer, and Shrikar and I are in cahoots that I want to see Joe Pyfer versus Paulo Costa, man. That would be ridiculous.
Electric. I don't hate that at all.
That would be crazy work.
Two heavy hitters, both looking to make a statement.
Yep.
And the winner would skyrocket into legit top 10 talks.
Do that in a 5-round fight. I want to see that in a main event.
Yeah, that would be great for a main event.
I want to see that in a main event.
100%. Hey, by the way, if you guys bet Pyfer by submission, good on you, man. Because that's wild.
If you did, you're crazy. And
you are crazy.
I guess I'm going to ask you for picks. I guess I'll ask you for picks instead of giving my own picks. Because, what the hell?
Chris, I'm not going to lie. I think you might have convinced me that Pyfer Costa's the move here.
It is. It really is, in my opinion.
My original pick was going to be Roman Dolidze.
I don't know.
I now think with Costa winning, Costa had that win. Pyfer won too. These are two guys who I think have potential. I mean, Costa's already a big name. Pyfer has potential to be a big name in the UFC.
Yep.
I think you do that, a 5-round main event for a fight night. You have me convinced. I'm not going to lie. I think that makes a lot more sense than Roman Dolidze. And I think, yeah, I mean, Costa needs to prove it a little bit more too. He had a great win against Roman Kopylov, but I like that a lot. Now you got me kind of hooked on that. I'm not going to lie.
That'd be a banger.
It
cannot not be a banger.
That was just crazy that as soon as Shrikar was like, yo, I have a good fight, I was like, I have a good fight too. I knew exactly who he was going to say.
Wavelength, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, same wavelength.
Yeah, but let's move on to featherweight. Youssef Zalal.
Wait, also for a boost, if they don't do, if they want to give Gautier a good fight and they're not going to just like feed someone to him because he's a monster, low-key, you could do a boost versus Gautier.
I don't hate that.
I don't think that would be bad.
Yeah. Let's move on to featherweight. Youssef Zalal gets one of the weirdest arm bars I've ever seen against Josh Emmett.
That one like hurt.
That wasn't weird. It wasn't weird.
It was like I just watching the fight. I mean, Chris and I were just like, "What?"
That was the most anticlimactic finish.
It was just so anticlimactic.
No, I know, but it was, dude. The entire arena was shook. They were like, "What? Like, what just happened? What?" Like, I mean, I was like, "What just happened?" I thought. I mean, obviously,
it was similar to when Hamzat submitted Whitaker. Like he tapped so fast, and it was just like so like, oh wow, okay,
yeah.
that was.
I knew that Emmett tapped as soon as it happened because obviously his arms are trapped. He literally cannot tap.
He's a
little bit too old to get his arm snapped. But I mean, I was, like I said, a lot higher on Josh Emmett. I thought that he could have at least got out of the first round.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, but I will definitely bite the bullet on that one, and I was very wrong. Youssef Zalal, you're a dog. You're an absolute
dog. How good is Youssef Zalal, and what's next for him?
He's really good, man.
I love Zalal. Like
he's different. He's different.
That was beautiful. He got the takedown instantly, and then he just chained submissions like it was nothing. He went from the head and arm choke to a triangle to an arm bar, all in like the span of a minute. Just clinical stuff.
Yeah,
the crowd didn't even realize like how slick that was at first, but make no mistake, man, that was elite grappling, tremendous performance, just beautiful. Next up for Zalal,
I feel like it's pretty obvious.
Yair Rodriguez.
That's not what I was going to go with.
But Yair is still elite, but I think he's a little lost in the shuffle at featherweight. This matchup gives both guys something to gain. Zalal will get a test. Yair gets a rebound opportunity. I think you do Youssef Zalal and Yair Rodriguez next.
Boy, about a guy lost to the shuffle at featherweight. What about Arnold Allen? I feel like that's obvious. I feel like that's an obvious.
But I think Arnold Allen's already got a fight booked.
According to Tapology, he's not.
Let me check Marcel's spreadsheet because he knows.
Let's see the spreadsheet.
Arnold Allen says he's in camp. So he's definitely already prepared.
Let me look. I'm looking right now.
Okay.
So it doesn't even matter what it says on Marcel's spreadsheet. Like Arnold Allen himself said he's in camp.
Okay. So I'm basing my prediction based on the fact that it's not confirmed. Because fighters have been in camps before and not have a fight. Like they're athletes.
But like timeline wise, it's not going to match up.
Arnold Allen hasn't fought in so long. I don't know what his timeline is, man, at this point.
I do not see
his timeline Arnold is like Allen now, like in the next like month or so.
I agree, but I don't know. I'm putting that aside for now because I think right now where you have when I see the timeline, I look at how like where are these guys in the featherweight division? Because right now I think you honestly have almost 3 title eliminators made. You definitely have 2 with Diego Lopez and Movsar Evloev. I think Aljo and Yair could be a title eliminator. Those guys are going to be on 2-fight win streaks after the win. And I think Aljo's a former champion. Yair's fought for a title before. Then you have Arnold Allen and Youssef Zalal. I think they're just behind that. But I honestly think that's the only reasonable matchup for him. I don't really care about timelines. And if he's in camp, he's in camp. That means the UFC does have something booked. But considering they don't, and I haven't heard anything about it, I'm going off the basis that Youssef Zalal and Arnold Allen is the perfect matchup.
I agree with both of you. I mean, I would not be mad at either of those fights.
Yeah, and I would not be mad at Yair too. I think Yair does make sense, but just based on where Arnold Allen's at, I think that makes more sense because of that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really not too sure. I think that both of them make complete sense, and I guess it would depend on where the fight is. Maybe if they're doing a England card anytime soon, maybe in one of the first. I know the London cards and all the cards that happen in the UK usually happen towards the summer. But
last London one happened in March.
Yeah, so that I mean, there's a few times where it's happened earlier in the year. So if that's one of the first Paramount, like big Paramount events, then I can definitely see that Youssef Zalal fights Arnold Allen. But yeah, I'm very indifferent on either of those. I think they're both great choices for Youssef, and dude, he's
I do want to also
ridiculous.
I do want to also point out that something that could throw a wrench into all of this matchmaking. Ariel Helwani on his podcast said he believes that the UFC is leaning towards Volk and Diego too, instead of Volk and Lerone, which I think would be a terrible.
Why?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
I think that's disrespectful as hell to Lerone.
I think that's disrespectful to Lerone. That's disrespectful to not Yair, Movsar Evloev. Like,
yeah, but Movsar is the one that gets swept under the rug all the time.
Movsar gets swept under the rug.
Movsar does it to himself. Like
he does it to himself. But at the end of the day, like
Lerone,
we're talking about Arnold Allen versus Yair. What about Youssef Zalal versus Movsar?
I think
Yair's more in a spot to fight down than Movsar is. Okay, to be honest.
I agree with that.
Movsar should be fighting the closest person to the title, and in my opinion, that's Diego Lopez. But I don't know. I hope they do Lerone. It seems like Volk wants Lerone. I mean, Volk wants Evloev.
Volk wants everything. He's a dog.
You got it, Sam.
Yeah, yeah. Fight back.
Yeah, we good. Volk will fight anyone. It should be Lerone though. Let's put it I'll put it that way. And I wouldn't be surprised if the 323 announcement comes soon.
Well, here's the thing. I'm gonna talk about this in a little bit, but I think they're targeting going to Sydney in February. So I think Volk is gonna be the headliner for that card instead of 323.
Where did you see that? Is that just like
it's just a rumor? They haven't officially confirmed anything, but I think they're targeting Sydney for February because they always usually go to Australia in February. But if they do that, I think they want Volk to be the headliner for that event.
I also just want to point out real quick about like usually going somewhere at some point. I'm trying firstly for me, I'm just trying to get that out of my system because they went to Sydney last February. What happened the February before? They went to Anaheim. Like it doesn't always.
But like, as in like earlier in the year. But like, you're never gonna nail the date. But it's like it's fine, bro. Like, I think they're targeting Sydney. I think they're targeting,
that would make sense. I would make sense. I think it was also interesting. We'll talk about Merab later. Merab wanted to be on that December card, but Dana White said post-fight the January card, which we do not know where it's going to be yet. But Dana White hinted at that card as huge. I would not be surprised if this is a 3 title fight card. So
for which card?
January. That's the first big
event. 324.
Nah, I disagree. It's not going to be 3 title fights.
Well, Dana White said it's going to be gigantic.
Dana White says a lot of stuff.
It's also
you got to trust Uncle Dana, bro.
I actually do trust Dana in this case because this is the first card on Paramount.
Yeah, I feel like he wants to prove to Paramount that they made a good deal.
You have to start with the bang.
I'm not going to argue against. I'd love it, but I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, or Aspinall Pereira. That would be fun. We'll see what happens. But let's move on to the feature bout.
Oh no,
Shrikar, I'll hand the floor to you. Just let out your emotions real quick.
I'm actually okay. I've seen my favorite fighters lose and get knocked out before, so it's not like this is anything like very, very bad for me. Jiri Procházka, he looked awful early on, out of rhythm, off balance, getting countered nonstop. But then Khalil's gas tank dipped, and Jiri did what Jiri does. He turned chaos into momentum, started walking him down, and completely flipped the fight. what a comeback, man. What a comeback. It was very impressive. It sucks, man. It sucks for Khalil, but those first 2 rounds, he was doing exactly what I told you on the breakdown. Grounded in his fundamentals the whole time, knows when to use the body kicks, knows how to use that to his advantage. The cardio just dipped, bro. It just dipped. It feels like once I saw him lose to Pereira, I think that was the worst, just because, that was his title shot. And after a title shot, when they lose, you wonder, like, are they going to get back or anything? I think Khalil will get back in the title picture. Like, I still think he's really, really, really good. And he showed in those first 2 rounds. So in terms of like emotions, like obviously, like it's sad, like it sucks. What can I do? Like Jiri was the favorite going in. We knew the stakes. We knew that someone was probably going to be left looking up at the lights, and it happened to be Khalil. So shout out to Jiri. He got it done. Khalil will bounce back strong. Hopefully, I think it's going to be Rountree versus Reyes next. I think that makes the most sense for him. Both of them just got knocked out. You put them together, I think it's going to be a fun fight. But I think this might be a good time to bring this up in terms of matchmaking, and we can do a deep dive on this. Full transparency, I'd personally rather see Poatan stay at 205. The Olberg fight makes a ton of sense for him next, and you could absolutely sell the Jiri trilogy too, as long as he can still make the weight. I just think light heavyweight just feels like the better playground for Alex Pereira. Like, there's danger everywhere, but it's also the division where he can really keep stacking that legacy. That said, Poatan's one of the biggest stars in the entire sport, and let's be honest, he's probably not sticking around for another 5 years. However, he wants to spend his last few fights. He has earned that freedom. And if he did want to make the jump to heavyweight, man, there's never been a better time to do it. So whether it's for an interim belt or the undisputed belt, and I'm going to give credit to Sam because he was the first one to really push this idea. Jiri versus Olberg. The timing is perfect, right? Like, Jiri and Olberg are tailor-made for a title fight. One is a streaking knockout artist out of a world-class camp in City Kickboxing with legit star potential. And the other, everyone loves Jiri, like a beloved former champ who's only ever lost to Poatan himself. And his last 3 wins have all been wild finishes against top 5 guys. And I'm glad I mentioned Sydney, because if they end up doing a numbered event in Sydney next February, Olberg just headlined in Australia. Jiri's got huge name value across, the Pacific area because of his pre-UFC run in Ryzen, and he won the belt in Singapore. And if Volk is on that card too, I feel like Olberg versus Jiri would be the perfect co-main, whether it's for an interim or it's for an undisputed title. I mean, that's an electric crowd, huge stakes. It's a global event. You're getting 2 guys who would fit that card perfectly. So if the UFC was looking for a way to set up their next big moment, I think this might be it. I think you target that February card to do Volk versus, if it's Diego, I guess, but have Jiri and Olberg on that card. I think that's where you got to do it. But again, credit to Sam, because he was the first one to come up with this, and he was definitely like pushing it very hard. And he thinks that Poatan's moving up to heavyweight, so I'll pass it off to him. But yeah, I think this would be the move.
And Pereira, after the fight, said in an interview he wants heavyweight. And I actually think what he was gonna do before he had he called for a moment's silence for Arthur Jones. I think he was gonna call it John Jones, make like the super fight of all super fights. Do I think that's gonna happen? I don't. I don't think Dana wants John Jones back in the UFC. I think he's had enough of him. But at the end of the day, I do think Pereira has done it light heavyweight. He's 38. He's finding it very difficult to make 205. You only have a few more fights left. You've never seen a triple champion in the UFC. Now is your chance to do it. And now is your chance to submit yourself as the number 1 pound for pound fighter in the world against Tom Aspinall, one of the best heavyweights we've ever seen right now. I think that's perfect. I think it's a perfect fight. But I want to talk about Jiri and Rountree a little bit, because boy, they both look great, I will admit. But Khalil Rountree got exposed, man. He got completely exposed with the cardio issues. Round 3, he came out very strong, trying to put Jiri away. and then he just gassed out, and Jiri just dominated from there. And we also saw these cardio issues a little bit when Rountree fought Pereira too. Like when round 4, when the TKO was called, he was so bloodied, he was so tired. His eyes were messed up again. Credit to Khalil Rountree. He's got to fix the cardio issues. I do think Dom Reyes is a good fight for him. I was also going to say the winner of Alexander Rakic and Azamat Murzakanov would be good. I think both those guys, Rountree is a great fit for them. And especially with, I believe, Bogdan Guskov and Jan Blachowicz is booked. Is that correct? I think Guskov, and I'll talk about this. I'll spoil a prediction. I think Guskov wins that fight, and I think he fights Ankalaev next as the title eliminator. So I think Rakic and Murzakanov would be great for Khalil Rountree. That's what I would lean right now. But Jiri Procházka, man, you do not doubt Jiri Procházka ever. That's just what I learned from this fight. You never doubt him. He is one of the best fighters in the UFC. I actually believe that Jiri Procházka should be on the pound for pound rankings. He's so dominant. He's beaten everyone not named Alex Pereira. And he just comes out and kills people, man. That's literally what he does. He did not look like himself this fight. I will not lie. Chris and I were talking during the fight. His legs just look messed up. I think I want to say his right leg was hurt because he refused to fight southpaw. So his
Khalil was attacking the legs, and Rountree's leg kicks are probably like some of the best in the division. So.
Yeah, exactly. I think Procházka fought a little hurt in that fight. But nonetheless, just gets it together, comes out and knocks out Rountree in a pretty vicious way. That screams title fight. If Pereira stays at 205, I do not want to see the trilogy just yet. I think I want to see Jiri prove it a little bit more. I think what you do with Jiri, I think if you're Jiri, this is what I would do. I would first fight Carlos Ulberg. If Pereira stays at 205, I think they give it to Ulberg, and Jiri can fight the winner next. But I think what Jiri should do, and I think this would be super fun. Number 1 is beat Carlos Ulberg. Number 2, beat the winner of Ankalaev and Bogdan Guskov, because I think that's a great title fight. If he does those two things, move up to heavyweight to fight Alex Pereira to get that trilogy.
Oh, God, no. God, no. Jiri will get murdered.
Like, he has nothing to lose. He only has a point to prove. And honestly, that could be Pereira's last fight in the UFC. Pereira's a 38, man. We don't know what his situation is. So I'm like, if you want the trilogy, make it happen. You have to prove a little bit more for it to get to that point. But you know what? If you knock out Ulberg, the top contender right now, if you knock out Ankalaev or Guskov, or just win against them, it doesn't really matter. Who I think will be the next 2 top contenders. There's not really a guy at light heavyweight right now, and stuff will change, I know, but there's not really a guy at light heavyweight right now where I just want to see him fight Jiri. So I think I don't be surprised if a year from now, October of 2026, we're talking about a Pereira Jiri trilogy at heavyweight. That's all I'll say.
I mean, it's a very interesting point, Sam. I think that would be.
It could even be at light heavyweight too, just because Jiri does not need to cut much weight. That's the thing. So he actually could, like, realistically, like, Jiri would probably weigh in at like 210 or something like that. I think I want to say he weighs like around there in general. He doesn't cut much weight, but just an idea.
Yeah. I mean, I think Dana White was a little hesitant to say that Pereira was going to go up to heavyweight, as he normally does with fighters trying to be a 3-division champ. We kind of saw it with Topuria, where he kind of put a little halt on that moving train. And I think he really wants to see Pereira fight either Ulberg or maybe Jiri again. I'm not quite sure, but it'll be interesting. I have a little clip to play. Also, thank you guys for 275 views on our preview.
Woo!
That is our most watched video. We couldn't have done it without any of our supporters. So we want to thank you guys so much for that. Your
Chris,
guys'
while you
support.
pull up the clip, I just want to say one thing about Pereira and the comparison to Ilya. Pereira's proven himself at light heavyweight constantly. He proved himself at middleweight. That's why he moved up. Topuria respectfully has not proven anything at lightweight.
No, he's no. I disagree. Ilya has completely proven himself in 2 weight classes. He has. I just think you're underestimating Oliveira.
I mean, it's not. But I mean, he has proven himself at lightweight. I think what I mean to say is, because if you're a title, you prove yourself. I think what I'm trying to say, like,
my question is, what more would he have to do to prove himself at lightweight?
So prove is the wrong word I'm using. I want to he's proven himself at lightweight. Let's talk about proving yourself for welterweight, though. I think that's what I'm trying to say, because Topuria wants to be a 3-division champ. To move to welterweight, I want to see him defend his belt against probably 2 more guys at lightweight. I would say probably Arman and Islam. I would love to see Ilya Islam at lightweight, but
well,
I don't know if
Ilya Gaethje is rumored for 324 as the main event.
That's what I've heard too, but
I know Shrikar don't like that.
Yeah, I don't like that either. But
yes,
I called it though. Yeah. I called that one.
Yeah, I don't want to get in a pattern of fighters moving up like multiple weight classes at a time. Like Pereira has been at light heavyweight for long enough, and though it's also longevity. I want to see a little bit more longevity with Ilya Topuria. If you're having trouble cutting weight, that's another issue. Ilya was having trouble at 145. 155 is 10 more pounds. That's not that troubling to cut that much weight. But anyways, Chris, you have the clip?
Yeah. So just like I called Gaethje versus Ilya Topuria, which is not confirmed yet, by the way. Pulled up the preview show. First of all, thank you guys for 275 views, like I just said. I like to go back and listen to myself sometimes because, getting a little bit older, sometimes you forget what you say. I'm not too old, but, shout out.
You do have a sexy voice, Chris.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah. I'm just going to play the clip and let it speak for itself.
I'm giving you the lone wolf pick. I see Jiri winning by knockout late 3rd round. I think that Rountree.
That's all I got to say.
Nice, man.
Damn.
I called it. Sorry, it was at the expense of Shrikar's emotions, but yeah, I mean, phenomenal fight. That was one of the best fights I've ever seen. I'm going to be quite frank. One of the best comebacks I've ever seen too. And I
fight
think
of the year.
No,
I agree.
You still got Royval, Van, Silva, Lopez. I'm still hanging on to that Chris Duncan, Mateusz Rambecki fight because that was insane.
This was better than Duncan and Rambecki.
I agree. It was better.
Just because I have to include stakes too. And stakes were high.
I guess. Just let me have my moment. No,
dude. It pains me to say that. Okay, can I just say this real quick? And this is the last thing to say about this. Like, I pray to everyone out there, you don't have to watch your favorite fighter get knocked out.
Oh, it's terrible.
It's happened to me multiple times, so I'm fine with it by this point. But it's everything that happens in the moments after. When every time you go on IG, every time you go on Twitter, you're going to have to rewatch that knockout. You're going to have to see it again and again and again. Every comment you see. You know how many comments I've seen with the picture of Rountree looking up and just looking like a zombie? Bro, it hurts, bro. Like, it really does. I pray your favorite fighter does not get knocked out. I think that is the absolute worst thing to experience as a UFC fan. And yeah, again, just a little thing I'll say, but love you, Khalil, man. Love you. But
I do too, man. You're an absolute warrior. But yeah, I don't really have too much else to say on the fight. I think you guys covered everything. I just wanted to show my receipt because
yes, sir.
I did call it, so I wanted to give myself
always good to pull up receipts. Well, let's move on to talk about the bantamweight GOAT, the fighter of the year, Merab Dvalishvili, who cemented that. I think it was greatest bantamweight could have been already cemented beforehand. Fighter of the year was cemented today, or on Saturday night, I should say, when he took down Cory Sandhagen, almost knocked him out, by the way, which that caught me by surprise. You never really see that with Merab. And he wins 49-45. It was 49-45, 49-45, 49-46. I had it 49-45. I thought that was a 10-8 round too. 20 takedowns, most in title fight history. First fighter to ever have 100 takedowns, I believe. That was the stat.
Yeah.
Like, dude is just a monster. And we talked to Chris and I talked about this. The Machine is one of the best nicknames in the UFC because he lives up to that name, man.
Yep.
I do want to say though, Sandhagen looked and I know Merab has lost rounds before. To O'Malley, he lost a few rounds. To Umar Nurmagomedov, he lost rounds. And Sandhagen, he loses round 1. He's beatable. I don't know who's going to beat him, but he is beatable. I just want to put that out there. I think that's one thing I kind of saw with this fight, that Merab looked beatable. And I honestly think Sandhagen, despite what the score says, I think Sandhagen gave him his toughest challenge. Because you look at... No. So let me talk. Because the first O'Malley fight, I thought Merab dominated all along. Umar was tough, but by round 2, he was so gassed, like there was a 0% chance he was winning. Umar was up 2 rounds to none. In a 3-round fight, Umar wins, but Umar was up 2 rounds to none, and I knew he was going to lose because he was so gassed and Merab wasn't tired at all. And you could just, it felt like, and that's literally what Merab's game plan was, just the cardio. That's why I didn't feel like that was a tough challenge for him. O'Malley the second time was pure domination from Merab. Sandhagen got him a few times on some strikes. Didn't knock it down. Nothing significant. Merab's chin is insane. But I want to say I feel like I disrespected Sandhagen a little bit. I thought this was going to be a blowout, and it kind of, the scorecards say it was. I thought it was a little closer than the 49-45. I know, and I understand it's based on rounds. And it was Merab did win most of the rounds, but at the end of the day, I thought Sandhagen held his ground. He held his own. I mean, and Merab went for that Darce choke in round 4, and Sandhagen was still alive, man. And you see Merab after, it's like, dude, how the hell did you get out of that? And just like high fives him.
Cory Sandhagen is a cockroach. He can't be put away.
Exactly. So, and that's kind of what I mean. Like,
I don't know.
I don't know. I'm with you. I feel like Merab is beatable. I don't know who's going to do it, but I don't think he's this invincible guy that I was once portraying him as.
I think Merab's toughest test is going to be Father Time.
I agree. Really I actually, and honestly, I completely agree with that, because I think once the cardio starts wearing down, which you never know, maybe he actually.
I don't even think that's going to be it. Like, it's just I think if Merab breaks a bone or something, I think that's the only thing stopping him. And if that, he'll just find duct tape and tape his leg or something back together and just keep running.
Yeah. I'll do quick matchmaking real quick before I get off this. Make Merab Yan happen. That's the next fight. I thought Yan deserved the title shot over Sandhagen. I wouldn't hate Sandhagen, but Petr Yan is next. Merab wants Petr Yan. Yan wants Merab. Make that happen. He said December card. I think if they want to go big on that January card, do it on that January card as co-main or main event. And then I also think for Sandhagen, you have Zahabi Chito Vera coming up. Give the winner to Sandhagen. I think that would be that's 2 good fights coming up. So
I think you're missing the absolute layup with Cory Sandhagen. But I'll get into it a little bit.
Oh wait,
I'm also, by the way,
you want to do it again?
Yeah.
Wait, Sam,
this is too easy.
Say what you were gonna say, and then you need to count down.
I'll let you count. I'll do the countdown, but I just want to say, if your pick is Sean O'Malley or Song Yadong, I have the match made together. I think that fight should happen. So I don't know if it is.
That ruins the count. Yeah, it was Sean O'Malley.
Yeah, it was Sean O'Malley.
You have to do Cory versus Sean O'Malley.
Yeah.
That's.
I don't hate that either. I just think Yadong and O'Malley is a little bit better.
No way over Cory and Sugar Sean, bro. No shot.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Tricor on this. I think before this, I wanted Sean O'Malley to fight Song Yadong, but I think Sandhagen and O'Malley poses the absolute perfect stylistic matchup.
That is a dream matchup.
It's literally a mirror image of each other, except Cory just has better wrestling.
That would be like technical striking at its like very best.
I don't hate it. I just think I think the only reason I think I didn't make it is I feel like that's a little disrespectful to Song Yadong, who I think is so close to a title shot. But
Song Yadong is the 5th ranked contender, so it's like it's not disrespectful to him.
Maybe you do. Would you do if the winner of Umar and Bautista versus Song Yadong as a title eliminator?
Yes, I'd rather do that. I mean, also I think if Song Yadong didn't have Henry Cejudo seeing stars with his treacherous eye poke, then maybe it'd be a little different. And even though he's going to win that anyway, I don't know. I want to see a little bit more from him.
Yeah.
Because
I don't hate O'Malley. I don't hate O'Malley and Sandhagen.
Like Sandhagen also beat the brakes off Song Yadong. Like actually destroyed him. And I guess O'Malley is the one person Song Yadong hasn't faced. I think the winner of Umar Batista should fight Song Yadong, but Sandhagen O'Malley is just like it's literally it fits like that. Like it fits like a glove.
Sandhagen looked sharp early. Like I'll give you that, but like again, man, I think I called this fight to like an absolute T. This is the trap with Merab. The more you work, the more he breaks you. You think you're having success, and next thing you know, you've dumped your whole gas tank trying to keep up. Merab just outpaced him like crazy. Beautiful flurry in round 2. Nearly finished one of the best strikers in the division. Wild pressure, insane volume, total domination. I do agree. Jan's earned another crack. He's been competitive even in losses, and that familiarity with Merab's relentless pace might actually help him in a rematch. I've said this before. It's someone who's had to feel that would be the one to beat him. So it makes sense to run it back. But I'll take it one step further. Instead of January, I think we have a new main event for UFC 323. Merab has been calling for December. I don't see why not.
Especially if they don't put Volk on or Volker.
Yeah, and if they move Volk to Sydney, you have that main event. So I think it'll go Merab versus Jan as your main event. And then you go co-main Pantoja Van. I think that's locked in. And then, yeah, you could do featured bout Sugar Sean versus Song Yadong if you want to do that fight. Sugar Sean versus Cory Sandhagen if he wants to make a quick turnaround. But I think he'll need a little bit more recovery.
On that note, though, what is the record for most title defenses in the calendar year?
He already has it.
3?
Nah, I think it's
because Poatan had 3.
Pereira got 3. I think it's 5.
3. Hold on, let me look this up.
Oh no, you know what? I think it's 4, and it was Volk.
Calendar year. Most title defenses in the calendar year. There's no single undisputed record. What? What do you mean by that? Hello?
Let's see. We're all doing research.
I believe it's 3, but this would be number 4 for Merab. Yeah, okay. The record is 3. So Merab has a chance to break the record in a calendar year. In a year's frame, it's 4. So that would still be the same thing, but in a calendar year, Merab has a chance to break a record. I think you do that too. Like at this point, if you're winning and you keep winning, you have nothing to lose.
He wants it. Like, he wants.
If December. He wants it, just do it, man. I like that a lot. Now that you say that, I like it a lot. Jan versus Merab at UFC 323. Make it happen.
And the thing is, it's good risk management from the UFC because if you're going to turn Merab around quickly again, you'd rather have him lose to Petr Yan because everyone loves Petr Yan. Like that's the one guy where it's like, what were you saying?
That would also be 3 defenses in 6 months because his first defense was in January and his second was in June.
Yeah.
So that would be wild too in itself.
Yeah. But I feel like no matter what happens there, like you're managing your risk very well because even if he loses, he's losing to, one of the most beloved guys in the division.
Yeah. But all right, main event time. Who wants to start with this?
I'll start it. I mean, we all said it. If Poatan wasn't completely washed, he was going to come back and handle business. And that's me. Exactly.
I just want to say, this is me looking at the guys that doubted us.
That's exactly what he did. He handled business. Came out pressuring Ankalaev right away. And Ank had no answers. Ankalaev, no, Ankalaev is a world beater when he gets to sit back and counter, but Pereira is not the kind of guy to give him that luxury. When Poatan's on, he deletes you fast. But I will say, part of me does kind of feel bad for Ankalaev. Big Ank. On paper, he's got a legit case for another shot at Pereira.
No, he doesn't.
On paper, he does.
Winning
Not
the
an
title and
immediate
losing
rematch,
right
though.
after has never historically worked out for that.
But I mean, he's been hanging around the top forever. He completely outclassed Pereira in the first fight, and now they're 1-1. Even though that knockout was quick, one solid win should have been enough to get him back in the mix. But as you guys are mentioning, that's probably not how this story goes, because even by UFC standards, and this is a company known for shelving guys who don't move the needle, Ankalaev has been treated rough. It took a 9-fight win streak in a very shallow light heavyweight division to even get the title shot. And that only happened because
The
John
title shot
Jones
against
left.
Pereira or the title shot against Jan Blachowicz?
Pereira the first time.
Okay.
And that only happened, against Blachowicz. And that only happened because John Jones left and Jiri got hurt. And then after that fight with Blachowicz, I feel like the UFC could have easily framed Ankalaev as, kind of the champ in waiting, right? But instead they tossed him aside. They did Hill versus Glover. They kept
Dana was so pissed at that fight. That was the whole thing.
Yeah, they kept Ank busy with Johnny Walker for a year, made him fight Rakic, even pushed Khalil Rountree past him just to keep him away from the belt. And when he finally gets Pereira, he beats him only to prove why the UFC never wanted him as a champ in the first place. Because outside of, obviously his Dagestani supporters and I guess there's a few hardcore fans who love, defending guys like this. I don't know why, I guess the underappreciated fighters, Ank just never connected. And during a year where the champs weren't exactly fan favorites, obviously Bilal was catching hate, Jones was inactive, Islam was getting flack, Merab was still trying to win people over, Pantoja, Dricus, they were less mainstream. Ankalaev somehow became just the biggest drag. He turned into
he was dead weight.
He turned into the face of what everyone had a problem with. And even when most of it wasn't really about him. That's why I'm saying I feel bad. Should he be fighting for the title again soon? Absolutely. Yeah. Will he? Not a chance.
Nope.
They are going to
not.
You are getting Jamal Hill, buddy. You are getting Jamal Hill. And here's the thing, I'm thrilled that he's not champ anymore. Firstly, I love this. But I do kind of feel bad in the sense he had to work twice as hard to get the opportunity, and he's still going to get cast aside now. He's going to have to go through a grinder to get back to the top.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be much of a grinder, honestly. I think you probably do 2 fights to get back, which is still kind of a grinder. We'll see how this next fight goes for Ankalaev. Again, I match-made him the winner of Blachowicz and Guskov, which I think will give you Guskov. I do not think Blachowicz is winning that fight. And if Blachowicz does win that fight, then you have a scenario. What the hell do you do with Ankalaev? Because
Jamal Hill, bro, they're gonna give him Jamal Hill.
If they give him Jamal Hill, I would hate that. If they give Ankalaev Jamal Hill, I will become Ankalaev's biggest fan. I swear to God,
it's gonna happen, bro.
If that happens, I will be that guy that supports Ankalaev, because my God, that would be atrocious. Yeah, I think Guskov's next for him. I think Guskov breezes through Jan Blachowicz, and that happens. You could also give him Rountree if Rountree gets another win. But I don't know, man.
That would be a good fight.
It would be. It's just it's so weird with Ank because he's not well respected in the UFC. I think it's a numerous amount of factors. We could talk about his manager all day. I think his manager plays a role in why he's so hated in the UFC.
He's managed by Ali, right?
Ali Abdelaziz.
Ali, yeah.
Ali Abdelaziz.
Yeah, who's just goes off on his Twitter, doesn't do anything.
He's the best manager in UFC history.
Yeah, I know. But it's just
love him or hate him.
Managing his account, it's it's annoying. But I think, like I said, it could be Mirzakhanov and Rakic too, if you want to do Dagestani versus Dagestani. But
it's just so tough because it's you really can't bump him down but you can't put him on a pedestal. And as much as I like feel in my heart, he probably should get another title shot, I just don't even want to see it. I don't want to see it because I think that
again, the UFC is not about the best fighting the best. It's about who they like.
Exactly.
They don't like Ankalaev.
If you don't sell tickets, you're not going to be favored. That's the biggest problem with Movsar. He's not marketable, so he gets shoved under the rug every single time.
Yeah. Well, it's also, I mean, there's other issues with Movsar, but
yeah, there's other issues, but also, I mean, like a big thing is marketability, and that's just his biggest problem. I think Merab did a great job in his career of becoming that marketable guy, because think about it. If Merab wasn't the outspoken, funny social media presence that he is, everyone would hate him. Everyone would be like, dude, why do I want to sit here and watch him cardio dump all over everyone for 25 minutes and just takedown. And now you're like, ooh, I low-key like Merab, so I kind of just want to see him shoot 32 takedowns a fight.
Well, can we also talk about this thing with Ankalaev being like a grappler? Because he's
never used it in his fight.
He's a great grappler. He just doesn't use it. It's like how Justin Gaethje is actually a really good wrestler. He just never wrestles because he doesn't want to.
Yeah. It's just like, it's the thing with Ank is just he's gonna like beat you up and he'll defend well. Like he's kind of like a Sean Strickland, like where
he's just not interesting enough. Like
yeah, exactly. But I don't know. I personally believe that Ankalaev will get back to the top at some point. Not necessarily a champion.
It may take a long time.
Not when Pereira's in the division. That's my bold
now
take.
when Pereira's in the division.
Now when Pereira's in the division.
Well, I mean, if Pereira stays in the division, they get a trilogy fight. I think you do it. Because I also think, let's talk about this Pereira Ankalaev beef. Because I think with Pereira, like, you had the whole thing with Izzy. He's like, he's just a kickboxer. He can't do anything. And that you think there's beef. I think it was just Pereira trying to prove a point. I think Pereira genuinely hates Ankalaev.
I don't think he genuinely hates anyone. It's just because they.
I think Yuri hates Ankalaev. He actually hates Ankalaev.
Yeah, no, but look at what Pereira's saying. Like after the fight, like he's trolling him. He posted while we have been recording this. He posted on his Instagram story, him doing this to Ankalaev and the picture of Ankalaev just looking.
Yeah, looking up like. What?
Yeah, but Ankalaev's holding a tire.
Right? He did that with Jamal Hill.
Tire shop reference.
No, it doesn't mean he hates Jamal Hill. Like,
you know what I mean? Like, no, the fact you missed the point. The fact that he's like Pereira doesn't go on social media and like Photoshop edits of his opponents and talk crap about the manager.
Oh well, no, it's because Ankalaev said he was going to send him back to the tire shop.
Yeah, and Pereira had that's why Pereira photoshopped that picture.
But also after the fight,
he genuinely hates Ankalaev.
But also after the fight, he literally went up to Ankalaev and gave him a hug, and he was like, "Yo, Shama," like he wasn't trying to be disrespectful about it.
I didn't see that.
I think the funniest part of their face-off was Pereira going when they were facing off after the press conference, and Pereira said something about like, "I'm not going back to the tire shop." And Ankalaev had no idea what he said, and the first thing he said was "No, Shama." That's all he answered was.
I don't think he genuinely hates him, but like, because what more would he have to do? Like he literally said himself, "Revenge is poison." It's literally a poison, and if he follows by what he's saying, then like he doesn't hate Ankalaev.
Yuri definitely hates Ankalaev. Yuri and Ankalaev actually have beef, so if they want to set up that fight.
So I was actually going to bring that up too. If Pereira stays at 205 and fights Olberg, if you're Yuri, do you wait for the title shot or do you fight Ankalaev?
Nah, I think you knock out Ankalaev.
I want a good outside option that Sam actually mentioned a little bit earlier.
Guskov?
Yuri versus Guskov.
I don't hate that either.
That would be one of the weirdest fights of all time.
Crazy work.
That would be absolutely insane. But I mean,
I'm down for that.
If they do Pereira and Olberg, like Yuri's gonna have to fight in the meantime. So I think that's the route you go.
You know why? You know why Ankalaev lost that fight? Because Rizvan Kuniev was in his corner.
Yes, bro.
That's an inside joke between us.
Mr.
We saw Kuniev in the corner, and we're like, "Oh, it's over. Pereira's losing."
Terrence was freaking out.
Oh my god!
He's like, "Oh my god, it's Rizvan!"
Dude, I saw that and I was like, all right, Pereira's gonna win.
Yeah, I mean,
there's no way you get Rizvan Kuniev in
I
your
feel
corner.
bad. Like we all just diss on Rizvan Kuniev, who arguably beat Curtis Blades.
Also, the card was due for an underdog. Like
It was.
before that, it was 4 straight favorites winning. I was like, okay, Pereira's gonna be the dog
Yeah.
that wins.
Yeah, the only underdogs that won were Wikłacz, Santos, and Brahimaj. That was it.
It was
Out
a
of
chalk
14
card. For
fight.
sure.
Yeah, that was chalky. Very, very chalk.
I think I went like 11-3 on picks, right? Or no, Sam went 11-3. I went 10-4.
I went 11-3. Yeah, I went up big.
Yeah, I
one,
went
so.
went 9-5.
Yeah,
But-
I could do better, but
Josh Emmett didn't count in my head, so it
AI.
was a shot in the dark.
Yeah, man. This was
Anyways.
a fun card though.
Fun
Definitely.
card. Final thoughts? Anything?
This is why we watch MMA, man. It's the storylines, it's the fights you get. It's I ran through an emotional low and then an emotional high in the span of like 20 or so minutes. Or not 20 or so, like an hour. But you know, it's the game. This is the game we play. But it was a very fun card indeed. Definitely one where like if you were watching with like someone who was trying to get in the sport, this had to have gotten him into the sport.
Oh
This is
yeah,
why I wanted to do that.
This was a beautiful card.
I actually had a friend who watched the. I had a good friend. Shout out Ryan Stevens, who was watching it for the UFC for the first time
Hey,
and loved what he was seeing. So
shout out Boss Hog.
yeah.
Yes,
Shout
sir.
out Boss
Boss
Hog.
Hog.
Shout out Arkansas.
maybe we got him on when Bryce Mitchell fights. Anyways,
I'll pull out
That'll
the
do
John
it.
Silva.
John Silva. Oh my God,
Bryce
man.
Mitchell.
Bryce
Bryce Mitchell. Anyways, that'll do it for the War Room, guys. We're gonna start streaming a lot more. Streetcar is gonna be on a lot more. We got a lot more content coming away. So hit that subscribe button down in that corner right there. Check out the socials. We're gonna be posting a lot more. Might be shifting some schedule of things up in the future to get more content out to you guys so we can have more time on our hands to help y'all out. But we're running with this thing, man. Hop on the train now while you can. But that'll do it for the pod. With Streetcar Gendron and Chris Schroyer, I'm Sam Corcoran saying so long. Take care, y'all.